this testimonial podcast called Through Testimony for Purpose podcast. And I feel it's only right for the first podcast to be of my own testimony. This has been a long time coming because it's been so many different just spiritual warfare with telling my testimony and having the what should I say? Having the courage to tell it. And so I feel like within this time, God has truly been maturing me, refining me. And so I feel like my heart posture now is in the perfect place to finally just share my testimony. And so without further ado, here we go. I am 34 years old. I am a single mom of 5. I am originally from San Bernardino, California. I now live in Texas. And so I just want to start off by what I can remember, how everything has started. I am the 5th sibling to 11. My mom has 11 children. I am the oldest girl. And so, yeah, pretty much growing up in our household, it was chaotic. It was very chaotic. My mom and her sister has the same amount of children. So just imagine all of us, and we're all like stair steppers. So our house was chaotic. Just a lot of different exposure to things that children should not be exposed to. We were not in church at all. Not that I can remember. We weren't in church. It was a lot of abuse going on in the home. My parents, they battled with addiction. The spirit of addiction was heavy in the home. As well as the spirit of perversion. I was being sexually abused by a family member, an older family member. And so I don't remember what age I was when it started. But I do know that by the age of 9, I was fully addicted to masturbation. And so in that time, I didn't feel like I would say that my parents, they raised us and loved us the best way they can. But God has given me grace to truly understand now their position, because people cannot treat you a way that they don't know. And so I feel like at that time my parents was giving us the best love or attention that they knew how, especially battling with addiction and battling with abuse, and my mom being she used to get beat by my dad. We always remember him just beating her. And so he wasn't a bad guy, though. I won't say that. I don't condone any woman to stay in any relationship if you are being abused. But I do know that when people are on drugs, it just brings that spirit. It tears people and tears families up. Okay, so I look back now just on the type of mother that I am. I'm like, I just don't see how the signs were being ignored. But again, they're not themselves, especially when they're deep in addiction. And so, I was being abused, sexually abused, and we were being abused. And for sure with my mom, like her mom didn't show her love. And so when she would come to our house, it was just more abuse. You know, she was the disciplinary. She would always care for us. My dad would call her over every time my mom went to jail, and my mom was in and out of jail constantly. I remember my mom had this beautiful picture of her in the hallway, and she was in nursing school, and I would always look at that picture like, oh, I just wish she were here, because it's just like, you know, I just wanted my mom. But anyways, so fast forwarding through, you know, our childhood, my dad, I was the age of 9. My dad suffered from a brain aneurysm, and he died maybe like 2 days after suffering from this brain aneurysm. And so my mom was going back and forth with CPS at the time due to it's not something that she had done, but because she would not do something that they wanted her to do, which I totally respect her for it. But if you're not in a position to clear a CPS case, it's kind of like, you know, you don't want to put yourself in that predicament. But 2 days, my dad passed away from a brain aneurysm. I say within a week, we were taken from my mom. And so we went into foster home, all of us. And so my mom's kids, my aunt's kids, we all went to foster care. I remember not seeing my mom that day. I was at school, and these people they called us to the office, and these people came and was like, oh, you guys are going to come with us. And then they put us in this van. I remember seeing my sisters there. My older brothers were there, and I was wondering what is happening. They took us down to this place, and they didn't want to break us up. So it was 4 girls, me and my 3 younger sisters. They wanted to get us together. So it took a couple hours for them to find a home for us, for all of us, for them to keep all of us together. And when they found this home, you know, I didn't know really what to expect. You know, I just was like, okay, we're going somewhere different. We ain't seen our mom. So we meet this lady, and I just remember looking at this lady, and in her eyes, you can just, I don't know, you just get a weird feeling. But she seemed so nice, and you know, you're talking really nice, very loving, warming, welcoming us. And, you know, I was just like, oh, this is going to be amazing. Okay. It's clean, and, you know, it's just us. And so I just didn't know really what to expect. I will say by the age of 9, I had developed, and this is a spirit, maladaptive daydreaming. And it is daydreaming, and sometimes it's hard to come out of the daydreaming. And so I truly think I developed that through the abuse that I was going through. And so this maladaptive daydreaming, it was a very vivid, you know, these things, and it was a blur between if this truly was happening or if it was not happening. But I know I wanted to stay in this isn't real, because everything that was going on around me, it was like I would rather be in this fantasy versus in real life, due to all the stuff that was happening around us. But so yeah, we go to this lady's house, and we're there with her for almost 2 years. 2 years, because we went in when I was 9, and we left her house when I was 11 and a half. And this is just how quick it switched. So we go to her house, and the first week, she's just showing us how her house is ran and all of the things. And so We were like, okay, we can do this. And then she had us. I went to church for the first time with her, and I was just like, okay. And she had us reading our Bible. She had us in church 4 days out the week. And I was like, okay, this is different, but we can get used to this. And then everything changed, you know, and so really understand why it changed. It's like, I know that kids will have their bad habits or whatever the case is from where the environment that they're brought up. So she was, I guess you can say, trying to unteach us the way we were taught. But this woman was very abusive, like throwing us against the wall. She wants to, she was physically abusive to us, mentally abusive. And she would always tell us, like, our social worker was very hands on, and he, buy us outfits for the holidays that come up, and Easter baskets, and 4th of July stuff, and fire, all of the things he would buy. He was really active in our life. I guess maybe he felt sorry for us, empathy for us from the household that he took us from. And so our dad just died. And so we never really dealt with grief, I guess you can say. Everything happened so fast. So not only are we grieving our father, we're grieving our mother, we're grieving our siblings, our cousins, because we all were just very close. And so we didn't get a chance to grieve. And on top of us not able to grieve, this woman starts to abuse us. She ran her house in a tight schedule, and so she told us if we would ever report the abuse that was going on in the house, we would be sent to a group home where all they do is rape girls all day. And I instantly reverted back to the sexual abuse I was dealing with at home. And so I was like, I don't want my little sisters to go through that. And so we didn't say anything. But one thing she did have us doing was learning the Bible. And so learning the Bible, I started to pray. I would say the same prayer every day, like, Father God, please get us out of this house. I remember one time in particular, we were like out at a dentist, and this woman walked in the dentist, and she looked just like our mom. And we all got up and we ran to her, and I guess we embarrassed her. So as soon as and she was really nice, like, oh no, that's not your mom. Very loving, showing love. Like, come on, you guys, I understand you miss your mom and all of those things. And the woman started to cry, and she was like, can I buy them some ice cream or something? And she was like, no, it's okay. They don't need that. They don't need that stuff. And she was like, okay. As soon as we got home, this woman beat the brakes off of us. She beat the brakes off of us. She said that we embarrassed her, And so after a while, I was just like, like, we went from one place of being, I guess, the unfit place, being abused and all of the things too. And this place, I guess you can tell, by the condition of the house and stuff like that. But then you remove the children to another place, and on the outside, it looks very clean. They're well kept. Oh yeah, they're most definitely being well taken care of. In our reality, it's a no. We were really beaten physically. We're beaten more than I think we were in our real home. Like the type of manipulation and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, the abuse is the same, but at least I'm not being sexually abused. We're not being sexually abused. That didn't last long. I started to get sexually abused by her oldest granddaughter. And I was just thinking to myself, like, why does this keep happening to me? Not knowing the spiritual aspect of it. The only time that we were actually okay, and I was in fear when we found out that she had a husband, because I was like, I don't want him to try to like touch on me or my sisters. But that was the only time that she would be normal, is when her husband was home. He was a truck driver. So most of our time that we were there with her, he wasn't there. But the times that he was there, she was an angel, you know? And so fast forward from there, I kept praying. Then I started to think about the church. I'm like, I know that this pastor is like telling people about their life and stuff like that, not knowing what an apostle or a prophet or any of those things were. But I'm like, if he's able to tell these people about like what's coming or what's to come, how can he not tell that this woman she's not who she portrays herself to be? She's a server in the church. All these people respect her, and she's the biggest child abuser. Fast forward, it's been a year and a half. She gets a child. A newborn baby. And this baby is from where we're from. And the baby has the same last name as us. And so we weren't allowed to touch the baby. We weren't allowed to hold the baby. We can see the baby from afar. But her grandchildren were allowed to hold the baby and all the things, you know. So I guess one day she gets in a car accident. I don't know all of the details with this car accident. But I guess she was holding the baby. And so when the police came and all the things, they took the baby right away. From the scene, they took the baby. The baby was okay. The baby was alive. The baby was okay. But they took the baby. And that night, from the accident, she got in an accident. Maybe about 3 or 4 hours later, she comes to the house. And she just tells us that we have to pack all of our stuff because we're leaving. And she didn't, she was crying. And that's the first time I ever think I've seen that woman cry. And I'm confused. I'm like, what's going on? She was like, you guys have to leave. And I'm thinking like, well, what did we do? Did we do something? And all I'm thinking about is for a year and a half, this woman kept telling us, making sure she reminded us that if we ever reported her, we would be sent somewhere, the next place from where she was, because she said she was the best place that we would go. And from there, if we left her house, we would go to a group home and they would rape us. So when she's telling us that we're leaving, all I'm thinking about is they're going to rape us. The next house, these people are going to rape us. So, she's like, I just can't talk about it right now, but they're coming to pick you guys up, and you guys have to leave. And so I'm just like crying. The other ones ain't crying. They're like, we don't care. We just want to leave this house. But I'm crying because I'm like, I don't want nothing bad to happen to my sisters. And so the people come, our social worker come, and we go to a facility, like they're not a facility, they're like their office building in the high desert, and they separate us. Me and my sister that's right under me, we went to one house and stayed in the high desert, and then my 2 younger sisters, they went to a house in Rialto, California. And I was like going through so many emotions because I'm like, oh my goodness, they're separating us. But we wind up going with the Hispanic family. Um, and my younger sisters went with a black family. And it was the best time. We weren't with these families long because my mom got us back. Um, she would let us see our mom, and we would go on visits with our mom. She was in prison, and we would go to visits, and then she went to like a women's halfway home. We would go see her, and she would always have these long talks with us on our way to go see our mom about the things that we can say, what we can't say, and what's going to happen if we say anything, and all of this stuff. Like, she was coaching us. She was molding us to be able to endure this abuse, but trying to normalize it at the same time. Just honestly, the devil was working through this woman. I cannot be mad at her.
So do you feel that the way that she treated you from the time that you guys were at the house and the time that you left the house, do you think that changed how you viewed God because of her serving in the church and in ministry, and then you seeing everything that's transpiring?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that altered your view of God? Because you're like, well, God, why aren't you coming?
Most definitely. Most definitely. When we left her house, clearly, now that I'm in the position I'm in now, I see it was a blessing. But at the time, I was angry with God. I was angry. I'm like, we went from bad to worse. And so I think after I left her house, I don't think I picked up a Bible until I had gotten a major revelation from God. And that was years later, and I will talk about it. But yes, I was angry with God, most definitely. And so we went to these new homes for a couple of months. My mom got us back, and our life was chaotic. We went from living with people. I don't think we had like a stable home, maybe 1 year, 2 years out of it all. From the age of, we got out when I was 11 and a half, almost 12. I turned 12 that year. And yeah, we were living from pillar to post. It was not, we did not have stability. It wasn't stable. We were always living with someone. It was always just a feeling of rejection. This is where rejection started to creep in at. So now it's sexual perversion. I'm still, by this time, 12. By the age of 13, I was fully addicted to pornography, masturbation, and I was dealing with rejection. 13 years old, I think we're living like in San Bernardino, California, and I was still dealing with maladaptive daydreaming. So I would have these vivid daydreams, and I truly feel like this was like a form of manifestation, and it was fantasy daydreaming about like certain people I would see having sex with this person, and like having a full-blown fantasy life with this person. Didn't know him, but 9 times out of 10 it was something sexual, and it came to pass. Not really full-blown having sex with this person, but close to it. It was always something to where it would be close to it, and then we would leave. We would go to another place. We were living with a family in San Bernardino, and we love this family. We're still close with this family. A lot of sexual perversion going on in the household between the children, and I'm just like, how are these adults not noticing these things? moved to Moreno Valley. By the age of 13, I'm already getting drunk. I'm now drinking alcohol. I started smoking weed. Um, we're out there, like, as long as we were in the house before the street lights came on, my mom didn't care what we were doing. And we were doing absolutely everything. Everything you can think of. Um,
So when your mom got out and got custody back of you, what happened to the cousins? Like, were they back in the household as well, or what?
so my mom, and I respect my mom and I love my mom. But for a while I was angry with her for it. But my mom got us back. But my aunt didn't get my cousins back. They wind up getting adopted by an aunt. They wind up getting adopted by an aunt, but my aunt, she lost all parental rights of her kids. So no, they never got out. They got adopted. I think we were still in foster care, but by the time that they got adopted out, yeah, most definitely. My older brothers, they had got adopted out by their aunt, by their grandma. Um, the only ones that still were in were all the siblings under me, except for my youngest two. One, she wasn't born yet, and my youngest brother, my mom was pregnant with him at the time that we all got took. So when she had him, she temporarily had no parental rights, so he got adopted out by our dad's family. Yeah. And so that is one thing I will say. Um I commended my mom for getting us out because it is extremely hard. The state make it extremely hard for you to get your children out of the system. And I commended her for it because I'm like, you did what you were supposed to do and then some to get us out. But for growing up and even into my adult years, I grew resentment towards my mom. I grew resentment towards her because I was like, why did you get us out? To come to instability and hardship. And once we got out of foster care, I had to make sure that my siblings were okay. Um, a lot of pressure was put on me. My mom was still in her addiction, um, still wanting to live her life, still going to jail, not at the house. And so um, it was just full of instability. Excuse me. I made vows to myself that by the age of 16, I was going to get a job. By the age of 18, I would no longer live under my mom. I did care about my siblings, but I was like, I can't be around this. Um, we wind up moving from Reno Valley to the back to the high desert. And before then, we started to tell our mom the stuff that we were enduring while we were in foster care. And she was extremely sad and heartbroken. And, she was regretful and, she was sorry and all of these things. Um, we have moved back to the high desert. And from there, we have moved to Barstow. My mom had her youngest brother who was living with us in Barstow. And my older brothers were there too. Not the oldest one, but the two under him, they were there and their friends were there. And the sexual perversion, my brother's friends, we grew up with them, since we were young. Before we went to foster home, we grew up with them. And one of the friends was like, molested me. And still that feeling goes back, and I'm just like, what is it about me that attracts this? I am not sitting here putting myself out there for this type of thing to happen, but it always defines me, to where sometimes I thought that maybe it's me tripping. Maybe I'm doing something wrong because I don't understand why this keeps happening to me. And so um my cousins, they did spend a lot of time with us. The ones that went to foster homes with us, they did spend a lot of time with us in Barstow. I will say that it was happy moments. I feel like my mom was healthy. She had just got out of prison. I feel like she was healthy. But then she got sick, and I had to take care of her, and I had to take care of our household, and just making sure everybody was okay. Um, and it was my older brothers were there, but they were back and forth, and then her brother was there. Um, they wind up getting into it, my mom and her brother, and so he wind up going back to San Bernardino. Like, all right, I'm gonna figure it out. At this time, my mom's mom was sick and she was in the hospital. And so I think she had a stroke or something like that. I'm not sure why she was in the hospital, but she was in the hospital and she was due to get out the hospital. And on that day, my uncle left from the house in Barstow because him and my mom had got into it really bad. I don't know why. The night before. And he went with his friends to go rob a liquor store in Colton. And it was all over the news. All over the news. They tried to rob the liquor store. And my uncle was shot in the head by the store owner. And so the day that my mom's mom was supposed to get out, she seen on the news that her youngest son had got murdered, and she went into a coma, and she never came out. So then we all came down to San Bernardino to deal with everything with this funeral. And every little thing that we had in Barstow, it got stolen by someone. Someone out there, they ramshacked our house. I'm like, we didn't have much. I know I had like a beautiful collection of rocks. Everything, it was all stolen. And so once my mom found out about that, whatever we had left, then she found out that the owner wasn't the owner of the house. And it was just constantly, that was a cycle. That right there was a cycle. One, we were always moving. We didn't have stability. Two, it was just always someone was getting over on her. And so we packed up and moved back to San Bernardino. I'm sorry. We moved back to the high desert. So at this time, no, we moved back to San Bernardino because now I'm in the 9th grade. My mom had my youngest sister the year prior, gave her up for adoption, so I never met her. I truly pray that one day I will get to meet her, but I never met her. And so we moved back to San Bernardino, and I'm in 9th grade. No, I'm in 10th grade now. 9th grade going into 10th grade. And so I meet this guy. The way we met, it was a bet. Don't do that. Don't do no bets to be with people. But we wind up really dating each other. And so we were like, seeing each other and things like that. And my mom got a house back in the high desert. So He was actually friends with my brothers too. They were all from the same hood. They're all from the same hood, so that was his excuse to come to the house. So we all, be at the house together. This is what you call a squatter house. I didn't realize this. I was like, well, why we don't got no refrigerator? Why we don't got no stove? Like, why this ain't on? Why that ain't on? But it is what it is. It was a really nice house though, but it wasn't our house. And so we started really dating each other. I was 15 and he told me he was 16. And so my oldest brother finds out. He's livid. He was like, you don't need to be talking to this dude, And this was red flag number 1. I mean, I think I already passed 10 red flags, but I ignored them. But this was red flag number 1 to me that I should have just stopped. For one, I should have already stopped. And this was another reason why I was angry with my mom, that she didn't truly enforce her parenthood to, I'm the parent, you're the kid, and if I say no dating, it's no dating. So I found out about his age through my older brother, and that was because my brother used to date his mom, which I didn't know. And so he told me his real age, and he was a year younger than me. But we still kept dating. And then one day we're in a room and he was like, let's do something. Let's do something so that I can make sure that we stay together forever. And I was just like, okay, what is it? And so he's like, let me see your hand. And so he takes my hand and he cuts my hand down the middle. And I start to bleed. It's a deep cut. And I was like, what the heck? So then he cuts his hand. And then he makes sure it's open enough to where we're bleeding. And then he put our hands together. And he started saying something. I can't even recall what it is that he was saying. And then after a while, we sat there with our hands together to where the blood in our hands started to coagulate together. And so he said, okay, it's done. We're going to stay together forever. And I'm like, okay. And so we were always in the house, like all of us. Like, we really didn't go anywhere. My mom was really not there all the time. So we didn't really go out a lot. And so I really don't understand what I was doing for them to be hitting on me. He had started hitting on me young. We were young. But I thought it was love. I watched my mom get beat all the time. And she never left. Like one time my dad beat my mom so bad, my mom's eye was out of her socket to here. Like, it didn't even look real. I don't even understand how a person's eye can get that big. It blew my mind. And so when he started putting his hands on me, I'm like, oh my gracious, like, this man loves me. Like, he loves me. And so my sister, that's right under me, she started to see bruises on me, and she's like, is he hitting on you? And I'm like, no. And she's like, then where are you getting all these bruises from? And I'm like, just mind your business type thing. I guess my mom caught wind of it, and she made him leave. She told him he had to leave. For one, just thinking back on it, I was like, I'm surprised you allowed him to stay. Like, I'm surprised you allowed him to stay in our home like that. And so he was gone for like a week. That whole week, I didn't eat. I didn't eat. I didn't come out the room. I didn't talk to anyone. I stayed in that room. Not knowing it then, but knowing it now, it was a spirit of depression. And it was like my body, though, was physically just not there. It just didn't, you know? And so it scared my mom so bad to where she let him come back. Once she let him come back, everything went back to normal. Not knowing what it was. I didn't know what it was. She let him come back, but she was angry with me. And I wind up losing my virginity when I turned 16. Turned 16, I lost my virginity, and I got pregnant. This was the beginning of that year, and my mom came to me, and she's the one who told me, because I didn't even know. She said, I'm about to make you an appointment because you're getting an abortion. I was like, what? I don't even know what that is. And so I find out that I'm pregnant, and I think I was like 8 weeks, almost 8 weeks pregnant. And so she made me get an abortion. I went there. I don't know what to expect. She made the appointment. So she takes me down there, and the guy asks, is anyone making you get an abortion? I said yes, because she was making me get an abortion. And so I guess my mom, knowing she's familiar with that thing. So when I come out, she's like, why are you out already? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, what happened? Why are you out so early? You just went in there. I said, oh, he asked me if anyone made me, and I told him yes. She must have slapped fire from me. I think she slapped me back 2 years. She slapped me so hard. And I was like, okay, I know not to do that again. She's like, you don't tell them that. I'm going to make you another appointment, and you're going to tell them no the next time. And I just was asking her, like, why are you trying to make me have an abortion? I don't even know what that is, for one. And she was just like, you can't take care of a kid. Mind you, I'm taking care of all my siblings. You can't take care of a kid. You don't have a job or anything like that. So she make another appointment. I get the abortion. I was physically just sick for weeks. My body was hurting. I was hurting. My feelings was hurt. Because I don't know. I knew I didn't know how to be a mom, but I knew I would be a good mom. Okay? I don't know how I knew that, but I just knew that I would be.
Did the guy know about the baby? Like, did he know you were pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
And so how did he feel about it?
He was angry. He was angry at the fact that I was getting an abortion. But I'm like, I had no say. I had no say in that. But he was angry. We cried together, we didn't know, but we cried together. And so a couple months after I get an abortion, I got a job. I got my first job when I was 16. I worked for a restaurant. It was a buffet, and it was called the Wood Grill. And I got the job through a cousin. And I worked there for a long time. I think until I was 17 years old, I worked there. In the meantime of getting this job, I was going back and forth. We were living with an aunt at the time because my mom went to jail. The people came, the bank, they came for the house that we were in. At this time we didn't have no lights. There was no water. We didn't have no refrigerator. Like we didn't have, so they came and they paid my mom for her to get out the house. Mind you, my mom is in jail. So my older brother's girlfriend got the money from my mom. What she did with it, I don't know. But we wind up going to my aunt's house. Excuse me. We wind up going to my aunt's house. And this is my dad's sister. So she had us in school. She had us doing everything we needed to do. My mom get out of jail. We went back with my mom. And we were staying at an aunt's house on my mom's side. And my boyfriend at the time, he proposed to me. He got me this really nice ring. And my aunt is in her addiction, same as my mom. She was like, oh, I could put up the ring for you and all of this. And I was like, okay. She had a daughter there that lived there as well. And her boyfriend was there. And going back to when I lived in Moreno Valley, before we moved back to the high desert, I was in 8th grade. And the same cousin that was there living with my aunt that had the addiction, her daughter had a place in Moreno Valley and with her boyfriend. And he was a Muslim guy. I didn't know what Muslim was at the time. But he would get us alcohol and stuff like that. And me and my best friend at the time, and my little sister, we all all he drank with all the kids in the area. Like all the kids, he would drink with us, And he got us really drunk one time. And I passed out. My friend passed out. Or at least she said that all the alcohol he was giving us, she wasn't really drinking alcohol. She was pouring a lot of it out. So they had this back room in their house. And he took us back there, And what she said was that he was messing with us, trying to masturbate us or something, rubbing all on our private areas. But she acted like she was asleep. I am passed out to the world, so I don't know what was going on. So when we wake up from that, she tells me what happened. And I tell my mom. And my mom told my oldest brother. And there was a big old thing from there. And so there were some kids in the area, they was like, oh, y'all lying on him. Why would y'all do that? Mind you, he get everybody drunk. So everybody wants to get drunk, So they why would y'all do that? Why would y'all say that he did that to y'all? And I'm just like, I'm not one to lie, And at the end of the day, I don't know what happened. I was not even aware. So they are in the house in the high desert when I'm 16. And I was going back and forth to work. And my mom, once we moved there, I didn't even want to be there, I had told my boyfriend at the time what had happened. And they're all in a gang. So you know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get him out of there. But my mom, and this added on to my resentment to my mom. She told me that I needed to apologize to him. Why she told me I needed to apologize to this man, I don't know. But I sat there and I looked at her like, apologize? Apologize to him for what? To where all the family was there, his wife now, she's his wife, my aunt, and all their kids, and there's kids my age, and she was like, you need to apologize to him for what you guys did to him in Moreno Valley. What? I'm not apologizing. So what I do? I left. I left. My mom was in her addiction, so I would pay my mom to leave. I would go to work. After I go to work, when I got paid, I'm leaving. I'm going to San Bernardino because I'm not finna be in this house. So that went on for a while. We went back from there, we left her house because it just got really bad there. And I was mad that she stole my ring and I never seen the ring again. And so from there, my younger siblings, they went back with my aunt on my dad's side. And I left to San Bernardino. My mom went to jail. And she became friends with this girl to where she was getting Social Security for us from my dad dying. And so she trusted this girl and like basically signed everything over to this woman over my younger siblings because I was old enough now to get my own Social Security and my name. And when I moved to San Bernardino with my boyfriend's family, she stopped me from seeing my siblings. My little sister, not the one right beneath me, but the one under her, came with me. And the rest of them went with this woman. But the sister right under me stayed with my aunt and on my dad's side. And so for like almost a year, I didn't see my siblings, and she would not let me see them. And I don't know why. And I found out that she was abusing them. She was abusing my siblings, like just like the most weirdest stuff, And so my mom was in jail for like a year. By that time, I had another abortion. My mom called and said, "You better not keep that baby. You're not ready for a baby. I'm 17." And so I got an abortion and then wind up getting pregnant again at 18. But mind you, this whole time this man is beating my butt over the littlest things, and I knew that I should have been left. So this whole time it's like showing supporting me through everything I'm going through, but still taking advantage, still beating on me, still cheating, like doing the most outrageous stuff. And I could not for the life of me leave. And I just didn't understand why. My mom got out of jail. She wound up coming to live with his family. My baby daddy's family now at this time. And my siblings, she got my siblings back. She found out all the abuse my siblings was go through, because this is what happened. I seen one of her kids at a liquor store, and I'm like, I'm gonna beat you up if y'all don't tell me where my siblings are. And so she took us to their house, and my baby daddy and his brother came, and they was finna shoot up her house. She wound up calling the police. Like, at the end of the day, my mom gave this woman legal rights over my siblings. So I was in the wrong legally. And so I left, but I was like, bro, I'm not going to leave my siblings here. Like, I can't. My mom wound up getting out, and all my siblings came and lived with my baby daddy's mom. And we stayed there for a while. This stuff, like, it was just constantly going through the same motions, going through the same thing. My mom wound up getting her own place. I still was going through the abuse to where at this time I now have my three kids still being abused. And I guess one time he would like throw my stuff over the freeway, or make me get out the car while I'm pregnant, or just the most evilest things you can think of. Pull guns on me. beat me with a gun, like just doing the most tore up things that you can do. And my mom, one time, I was driving and he sat behind me and we had got into an argument with something. I don't even remember what it was. And as he waited till I started driving and he began to punch me repeatedly in the side of the face. And my mom said something to him. And I don't remember. I remember him punching me, but I don't remember telling my mom this. But she said I did. She said I told her to stay the hell out of it. And she said from there, she stopped helping me. So when I finally was ready to leave this man, like I finally built up the courage and everything to finally leave this man, my mom would not help me. I asked her if I can come stay with her. She said no. She would not help me. She would not let me come live with her. Nothing. I wound up staying with a friend, a coworker from work. I had all my belongings in my car. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't have to stay with